All right, it's 3:30. I'm going to go ahead and start this meeting. Try to make it quick. As usual, I'll remind you, because you're watching this on YouTube, you can always fast forward this video and or speed it up to make things quicker for you. Anyway, this is the Module 8 meeting, the last one of the semester. I've been doing this for a while, so I'm not going to repeat myself and tell you how to get the extra credit. It's the same way you always get the extra credit. If you have questions, let me know. I also remind you too that you can get extra credit for proving that you are registered, right? Registered for the next semester, or that you've applied for graduation. So any kind of screenshot to show that you've done that will get you some extra credit. Also remind you too that given that it is now Module 8, it is too late to do late work or corrections or extra credit. So now's the time to just focus on the final exam. And even though that's not listed on this, I'll remind you that the final exam is about 100 questions, 50 of which are going to be coming from the first 3 exams. So those are your study guides for the final exam, and also about 50 questions will come from modules 7 and 8. So your quizzes are your study guide for that portion, but also I will give you a study guide if you email me and ask me for a study guide. So yep, that's it. So then the last thing to mention too is it's again about 100 questions, and you will have 100 minutes to take it. If you need more time than that, let me know. If we can meet online and I can proctor your exam and ensure that you're taking a closed book exam, then you can have more time. And also, if you feel like you might want to retake the exam, then you should go ahead and take it earlier in the week, therefore providing you time to retake it. In which case, just email me and let me know, and we can make that happen. Anyway, Module 7 Lab, there's not much to say about it. There's different versions of them. I'll focus on the renewable and non-renewable. Basically the same stuff I said in the last meeting about, hey, this is the things you should look out for when you do this lab. Those are the mistakes people made. I can't grade anything past the table if you didn't include the dates, the years. So I'll show you what I mean very quickly. I have to look up the data, right, to make sure that you are correct. So here you're supposed to put in the years, right? The third most recent year, second most recent year, and the most recent year. So I need that. And I know you're probably thinking, well, it is the most recent year, so just look at the most recent year. Well, the problem is some people aren't doing the most recent year, so I need to know the 3 years that you used to get your data. And also, just to be completely honest with you, like I don't have time to figure it out, right? With all the students and all the things I have to grade, I need you to give me the year. I don't have the time to uh, do the research, so to speak, to find out for myself. So yes, please include the year. Let's see, where are we at there? Yeah, that was the biggest mistake. Oh yeah, also these questions after the data, it looks like I need to fix these. What what was your hypothesis, and was it correct or incorrect, right? So, and then overall, did the consumption of renewable energy, right? So these are 3-part questions. That's the first thing I want to mention. And also, this part of the question, right? Was your hypothesis correct or incorrect? So some people are saying yes or no, but that's not a yes or no question, right? It's correct or incorrect. So some people lost some points for that. Um, let's see what else. Oh yeah, as always, when you do a graph in this course, the a bar graph, the bar should go up and down, not left and right. And this was explained in the directions. The y-axis should be the percent change, right? So just picture it in your head, right? That's the y-axis, the percent change. That would mean that your bars are going up and down, not side to side. Yeah. So other than that, I don't think there was much. I don't have much to say. Sorry, I just wanted to pull up my Facebook. I don't have much to say else about Module 7 Lab. So moving on to Module 7 discussion. I think everybody did for the most part, did a good job. I'm just going to repeat myself and say the same things I've been saying since the semester started. That's you have to use sources and you have to use them properly, right? You need at least one non-textbook source. So some people are still making that mistake. Other than that, I don't think many people lost points. Some people lost some points for grammatical errors, and hopefully by now I'm not very picky. But if it's something really easy like capitalizing the first letter of a sentence, then you're going to lose points for that. And some people did lose points for that. But other than that, I don't have much to say about the Module 7 discussion. It is, I don't even know why I included this on here, but it is too late to retake exam 3. If you did retake it, as a reminder, you need to email me and say, hey, I need you to adjust my grade. But that also reminds me, again, and I know I've said this before, but if you meet me online to get feedback, or in this case, if we're talking about an exam, get all the correct answers, you'll get a 5% boost to your grade. But also, again, your first 3 exams are 1/2 of what the final exam is going to cover. So it would help you to get all the correct answers, because you should be studying the first 3 exams, and you should still have access to them. Even though it's too late to retake it to change your grade, you can still go in there and quote unquote retake it, to get the practice with those questions. So really quickly, let's look at Lab 8. This is pretty straightforward. It shouldn't take long at all. Lab 8. First of all, you have other options, but if you decide, and the other one's pretty self-explanatory, but if you decide to do this one, basically it's just, it's about garbage, right? It's about garbage and recycling, all that stuff. Historically, I'm trying to think of some of the mistakes people normally make, and I don't really have much to say. I'm looking at this document, trying to jog my memory to see if anything jumps out at me. Okay, I'll point this out. So this is, again, a common mistake. Was your hypothesis correct? So in this case, it looks like someone's joining us. There we go. Hey.
Hello.
So I'm glad you joined. You reminded me there have been no attendance words yet. So the first word will be William. So anyway, I've already gone through a lot of this, but right now what I'm doing is talking about the lab that you have to do this week. I just wanted to point out some of the common mistakes that are made. So these questions, like, was your hypothesis correct? In this case, this is a yes or no answer. So just be aware of that. Another common mistake is this question right here: 10 ways to unpackage your life. If you read that website, this from that link, it's all about reducing the amount of trash that you accumulate, that you make. Right. So be aware of that when you're answering this question. What are some other things that you can do to unpackage your life? So a common mistake is people will leave some idea of something that they could do that's good for the environment, but it's not necessarily about reducing the trash. So keep that in mind. That question is about reducing your trash. Other than that, there's not much to say about this lab. As always, another common mistake: make sure you save it as a PDF before you upload it. But that's all I have for the Modulate Lab. William, did you have any questions about the lab that's due this week, Modulate Lab?
Nope.
All right. So the discussion, this is really also pretty straightforward. There's nothing much to say. You need to come up with a unique idea of something you can do to help the environment. So some people get confused with the idea of unique. And, I'm not going to be really picky on that, but basically just try to think outside the box. So something like saying, hey, you should recycle. Like, nothing too obvious, right? Just try to think outside the box. Most likely, you're not going to lose points for not being unique. But the idea, again, try to think outside the box. Look over what your classmates post before you post yours. So, avoid, posting the same idea that they post. And as always, and this is usually the biggest mistake I see, make sure you use sources. And that's actually a common question for the Modulate discussion. Is they're saying, well, people will ask, right, if it's supposed to be a unique idea, then how is it that we're supposed to have sources if it's an idea that no one has thought of yet? So I'll just show you very quickly the example that I have here, right? So yeah, this is the example. This is an idea that I came up with, right? Something that's all about baths. But anyway, you can see here that even though I think my idea was unique, I still looked up some facts to support my idea, and that's how we use the website, use sources. So that's it for that. I will point this out, since it's the last module, I want things to be a little bit easier. So in this case, you are only replying one time. You only need one response. So your initial post will be worth 20 points instead of 15. And your one response will, as usual, be worth 5 points. And again, I'll remind you, you can do more than one if you want to help ensure that you get the full 25 points. But that's all I have for the Module 8 discussion. William, did you have any questions about the Module 8 discussion?
No, sounds pretty straightforward.
All right. Like I mentioned earlier, late work and corrections, extra credit. I just don't have any time for that anymore. So the time is now passed for that. Turning in extra credit, it's too late for that. But I will remind you again, as I've been doing for a while now, this is the first semester where I'm giving you extra credit if you turn things in early. So if you've turned something in early and I didn't give you extra credit, feel free to call me out. Remind me, say, hey, you forgot to give me the extra credit, which is also another good time to remind you. Always feel free to question your grades. I make mistakes, so don't be afraid to call me out on some mistakes. Like I've said before, either I made a mistake and you'll get your points back, or you made a mistake and you'll learn from it. Really quickly, William, well, I'll just end it there. I'm going to stop recording. I don't want to repeat myself on the video, but then once I'm done recording, I will ask you if you have any questions. But really quickly, I guess the last word for attendance, the second word for attendance is blanket. And you'll just go about that the way you normally do.